Hello everyone, welcome to Exam Help. Today we'll be solving 0610 paper 22, Feb March 2021. Question 1. Woodlice are small organisms that live in damp places. In an experiment, 3 live woodlice are put into a glass container. The diagram shows what happens after 30 minutes. What characteristics of living organisms is shown by this experiment? So basically they move downwards and then to the damp area. Growth, nutrition, respiration must be eliminated. Sensitivity is the only answer. It's because sensitivity is the ability to detect a stimulus and have the appropriate response. So the appropriate response of the woodlice was moving into the damp environment where they're most capable of living in. Which species can breed with whatever this is called to produce a fertile offspring? So to produce a fertile offspring is when the two organisms of the same species are breeded, right? So you can basically have the same species and different genus. Remember this as a song or as a sentence. King Philip cut oranges for good students. Good students are basically for genus and species. So both of them should be the same. So as you see here, it's neither the genus or the species are the same. So you're eliminating A and B. And for this one, they have the same species but different genus, so that's not possible, so the answer is D. What is the correct order of arthropod groups from these of most legs to those with the fewest legs? So let's do the elimination method. Does myriapods or arachnids have more legs? It's definitely not arachnids because myriapods have a pair of legs in each segment and they have more than 40 or 30 segments. Alright, crustaceans or insects? Insect has 3 pairs of legs, but crustacean has far more than that, so the answer is C. The diagram shows for animal cells as seen under a light microscope what will be present at X. So that's basically one cell and this is another cell. So as you see here, there are 2 cell membranes, but because they're very close to each other and light microscope isn't very precise or it does not have a very big magnification, so you can only see it as one as one membrane, right? But then there's still 2. The diagram shows a root hair cell. How is this cell modified for the absorption of water? The cell membrane is also the root hair cell is also similar to the villi that is present in the walls of the intestine, specifically the ileum. It increases the surface area, thus increases the rate of absorption. The student draws a diagram of the mitochondrion. The diagram has a magnification of 20,000. The diagram is 5 cm long. What is the actual size of the mitochondrion? So let's do this rule. It's actually I am image actual magnification. So here we want the actual, right? So just hide it, you have I over M. But then we need it in micrometer, right? We have it in centimeter. So basically you multiply 5 times 10,000 over 20,000. Let me type this in the calculator. So that will give you 2.5 micrometers. Question 7. A jar of air was placed upside down on the top of a jar containing a brown gas as shown. Which process has taken place? Diffusion both upwards and downwards, diffusion downwards, diffusion upwards, diffusion and osmosis. Definitely not osmosis because osmosis is basically related to water potential and water molecules. And diffusion does not actually have anything related to the direction of movement of particles. It's basically due to random movement of particles. So that would be upwards and downwards. Which rule describes active transport? What is active transport? Active transport is the movement of particles from lower concentration to higher concentration against the concentration gradient using the energy from respiration. So yes, it does need energy from respiration. And it moves from lower concentration to higher concentration, so that makes it D. The bases on one strand of the DNA molecules have the sequence of CAGCT. What is the sequence of bases on the other strand? So basically, as we said before, C looks like G, goes together. A and T are left, they go together. So CA, we would need a GT. That makes it B. The diagram shows the effect of temperature on the rate of enzyme control reaction. Which statement are correct? The collision frequency between the substrate and enzyme increases by X and Y. That's actually correct because it gains more kinetic energy, so there's more, like, they move faster, speed increases, so they have more frequent collisions together. So one is correct, one is not present in D, we're eliminating it. The shape of the active site is altered between Y and Z. That's actually correct because after the optimum temperature, the proteins are denatured, causing the active site to change shape, so the substrate can no longer fit into it and form a enzyme substrate complex. So that's also correct. The enzyme is denatured irreversibly at X and Z. That's actually not correct because here it's not denatured, so it's only 1 and 2. Which graph represents the effect of pH on the activity of a digestive enzyme? That would actually be P, because it's only optimum at a specific enzyme, and then it would be denatured if it's below that enzyme, like below that pH or above that pH. In which process is oxygen a waste product? Photosynthesis, because it's 6CO2 plus 6H2O that give us C6H12O6 plus 6O2. This is the waste product as it's released into the environment. Which layer in the leaf contains interconnecting air spaces? C. Spongy layer. Where does digestion take place? D. The rectum. The diagram shows a fat globule, P, in one port of the alimentary canal, at the same fat globule Q as it appears in another port. In which part of the alimentary canal P and Q can be found? You can find this, it's not in the duodenum because it actually gets it does not get it gets broken down or emulsified using the bile, so it gets broken down to smaller pieces, so that's not in the duodenum. Nor the ileum, because the ileum is the second part of the small intestine, which is after the duodenum, and it's also not in the rectum because it gets digested, so that leaves you with the esophagus. The diagram shows the enzyme and the products of the reaction they catalyze. Amylase would be simple sugar, right? Because it breaks down the starch. Lipase will actually break fats or oils into fatty acids and glycerol. Alright, and then I'm sorry, I did not. And then protease will break amino acids, like they will break proteins or polypeptides into amino acids, so that leaves you with C. Which statement about the function of xylem tissues is correct? A. It carries glucose from the roots to the leaves. Xylem vessels only carries water and minerals. It helps to support the stems and leaves. That's actually correct. It only transports to the tissues in the plant. It carries water away from the leaves. That's not correct, so that actually leaves you with B. What is the part of the definition of transpiration? Transpiration is the loss of water from the leaves, followed by movement of water from the roots by transpiration pull. So the loss of water vapor from the plant leaves by evaporation of the surface of the water of the mesenchymal cell, the movement of molecules into the cell where they are used, the movement of particles through a cell membrane from a region of lower, nope, that's active transport, the transport of minerals, ions from the roots into the stems and leaves. So the answer is A. In which part of the organism is the location of the capillary in the box? That's actually the lungs. Because like as you breathe in, oxygen enters and carbon dioxide will leave, right? And the blood comes from the heart, like the deoxygenated blood comes from the heart, and then this is where carbon dioxide is replaced with oxygen, and then it comes to the heart again, where it's pumped again to the blood, to the body, sorry. Which blood component can carry out the process of phagocytosis? Phagocytosis can actually happen using phagocytes, and this is where they engulf in pathogens. So A. So I'll end this video till here. This is part 1 of Feb-March 2021. I'll be uploading the part 2 in a few minutes hopefully. Thank you.